The Ohio State Buckeyes take on the Indiana Hoosiers, and that's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off at Assembly Hall. Indiana's minus 3.5 with the total at 139. And if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at brockpage.com. And if you need a little bit of help on deciding which package to get, well, we're currently 2-0 in our last couple of extra daily pick tier package plays on that very same webpage. And the good news is we have another extra daily pick going off here today. And if you want to access today's extra daily pick, it's only going to cost you just $2.99. And the link for that pick is in the description section below. And just a quick reminder here, if you sign up for that $2.99 package here today that I was just talking about, you're actually going to get access to those picks every single day all the way through the end of January. It's a one-time fee, and it actually works out to be just 12 cents a day through the end of January if you sign up, here today. But anyway, going back to the game, despite being favored in this one here today, the Hoosiers are coming fresh off a 3-point loss to Penn State in their last outing. And as a matter of fact, the Nittany Lions held Indiana to just 58 total points in that contest. Now, the Hoosiers have failed to cover the point spread recently to the likes of Wisconsin and Syracuse as well. They are certainly having a tough time covering against those top-tier programs. And despite, playing some really good basketball in many different facets here this season, the Hoosiers are struggling to make their free throws. They're currently draining only 67% of their foul shots. And, of course, when it comes to head-to-head meetings, Indiana's lost 7 out of their last 10 contests against Ohio State. So certainly many trouble areas here if you're looking to back, Indiana in this spot. Now, taking a look at the Buckeyes on the other side of things, they actually won their last 5 straight themselves. A nice little winning streak for them with victories over the likes of Nebraska, Wisconsin, and Duke during that stretch. Now, they also beat Penn State during that span as well, and they beat Penn State by double digits. So there's a common opponent here that Indiana lost to, and, of course, Ohio State took care of handily. Now, Ohio State's one of the better offensive teams in the entire country. They're currently averaging 77 points a game, and they're draining nearly 43% of their 3 balls on the road. As a matter of fact, Ohio State is currently in the top 10 in the entire nation in 3-point shooting away from home. E.J. Liddell is averaging nearly 20 points per contest, along with 7 rebounds and a couple assists. Now, the 6'7 junior also has 33 total blocks on the season defensively. Meanwhile, teammate Kyle Young is drilling nearly 48% of his three-pointers, and he's averaging double-digit points a game as well. You kind of want to see Kyle Young take some more shots. He doesn't have a whole lot of three-pointers under his belt, but when he shoots them, he makes them. So look for him maybe to take a few more shots here tonight. Now, the Buckeyes are currently in the top 15 in the nation in shooting from the field. Very good field goal percentage for these guys. Meanwhile, defensively on the other end of the court, they're actually limiting their competition to just 26% shooting from 3 land on the road. They've been very stingy defensively. Now, total-wise, 3 out of the Buckeyes' last 4 ball games did get over the line. They also went 80% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Hoosiers, on the other side of things, they saw 5 out of their last 8 get over the posted number themselves. I'm going to lean toward Ohio State plus 3.5 and the over 139. Next ball game, it is going to be Iowa versus Wisconsin, and that's going to be a 9 o'clock Eastern start time. Wisconsin is minus 3 with a total at 147, but despite being favored in this one, Wisconsin failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4 ball games, with one of those failures to cover being an 18-point loss to Ohio State. Now, the 2 other failures to cover also came against the likes of Illinois State and Nicholls State. Now, the Badgers are just 3-4 against the spread at the Kohl Center this year. These guys have done a real poor job of shooting the basketball. The Badgers are making only 40% of their field goals this season, And they're also drilling only 29% of their three-pointers. Now they're taking on an Iowa team who certainly can score with the best of them. Not quite sure if the Badgers are built for a track meet in this one. Iowa scoring nearly 88 points per contest, and they rank in the top 3 in the country in scoring on average per game. Keegan Murray's dropping 24.5 points per contest, along with 8 rebounds and a couple of blocks. Meanwhile, Patrick McCaffrey scoring nearly a dozen points a game himself, along with 3 boards. Now the Hawkeyes, they're making 48% of their field goals. And when it comes to the total in this one, Iowa's last 4 straight got over the posted number. They also went 80% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Badgers, on the other side of things, they saw their last 3 straight get over the line themselves, 80% to the over in their last 10 as well. I'm going to lean toward Iowa, +3 in the over 147. Next ball game, it is going to be Washington State versus Colorado, and that's going to be a 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off. The Colorado Buffaloes are -1.5 with the total at 130, but despite being the slight favorite in this one, Colorado has done a poor job of covering the point spread at home. As a matter of fact, the Buffs are just 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 home games, and they've also been little threat shooting the 3-ball. Colorado currently finds themselves making only 30% of their 3-pointers. They're taking on a Washington team who's averaging 76 points per contest, and they do a real nice job of rebounding the basketball offensively. Now, Michael Flowers is averaging over 13.5 points a game, along with 4 rebounds and a couple assists. Flowers is also making nearly 41% of his 3-pointers. Meanwhile, teammate Noah Williams, he's scoring over a dozen points a game himself, along with 4 boards and 2.5 assists. Now, defensively, the Cougs are limiting their competition to just 63 points a game, and they're also holding them to just 38% shooting from the field. We're looking at a WAZZU team who's been playing very good defensively. When it comes to the total in this one, the Cougs saw their last 4 straight all fall under the posted total. Meanwhile, Washington State, same team, they're still 7-1. They're 7-1 to the under in their last 8. Meanwhile, Colorado, on the other side of things, they are 5-0 to the under in their last 5 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Washington State +1.5 in the under 130. And with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into our next and final video breakdown for the show. It is going to be USC versus the Cal Golden Bears. And that's going to be an 11 o'clock Eastern start time. The USC Trojans are -5.5 with the total at 128. Now, the undefeated Trojans have beaten the likes of Georgia Tech, Washington State, Utah, and San Diego State already. The undefeated Trojans are also one of the best defensive teams in the country. They're giving up just 58 points a game on the road, and they're also limiting their competition to just 35% shooting from the field. As a matter of fact, USC is currently in the top 3 in the country in defensive field goal percentage. Now, scoring-wise, Isaiah Mobley is averaging 15 points a game, along with 9 rebounds and a couple assists. Mobley's also drilling 43% of his 3-pointers. Meanwhile, teammate Chavez Goodwin is scoring over 13 points a night himself, along with 7 rebounds. Now, they're taking on a Cal Golden Bear team who's averaging only 66 points per contest. These guys have been somewhat anemic offensively. And when it comes to head-to-head battles, the Golden Bears have fallen short in 7 out of their last 10 meetings with USC. Now, Cal struggled with rebounding the basketball offensively at home this year as well. And when it comes to the total in this one, Cal saw 5 out of their last 6 fall under the posted number. Meanwhile, USC went 5-0 to the under in their last 5 themselves, 80% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward USC -5.5 in the under 128. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap, powered to you by my website at brockpage.com. We are currently 2-0 in our last couple of extra daily picks on that website. I like Ohio State plus 3.5 over 139. Iowa Hawkeyes plus 3 over 147. Washington State plus 1.5 under 130. USC Trojans minus 5.5 under 128. And as far as all the other games go across the country, I like Loyola Chicago minus 2.5 over 133. New Orleans minus 2 under 151. Radford minus 4 over 133. New Jersey Institute of Technology, NJIT plus 6 under 131.5. Texas A&M Corpus Christi minus 9 over 153. Albany minus 4 under 125. Bryant plus 8 over 141 and a hook. Coastal Carolina plus 1 under 138. Wright State minus 7 under 143.5. Maryland Terrapins plus 11 under 140.5. Mount St. Mary's plus 4.5 under 136. Vermont minus 10 under 126.5. St. Francis, PA minus 2 over 141. Tennessee Martin plus 5.5 over 144. Georgia State minus 8 over 138. UL Monroe minus 6 over 148.5. UCLA Bruins minus 26.5 over 143. Appalachian State plus 6 under 134. Arkansas State plus 4.5 over 145. Grand Canyon minus 8 over 142.5. Rice University minus 4.5 over 151. North Dakota plus 3.5 under 146. Oral Roberts minus 4.5 over 158. Tarleton State plus 3.5 over 124. Seattle minus 10 under 140.5. Belmont minus 21.5 over 162. Texas San Antonio, UTSA, the Roadrunners minus 4 under 134.5. Abilene Christian minus 6.5 over 142. A lot of movement on that game there. UAB plus 2.5 under 127. Nicholls State minus 10 under 144. Eastern Washington plus 2.5 under 143. Idaho plus 10.5 over 146. University of Pacific plus 17 over 137. SMU Mustangs plus 2.5 over 143. Washington Huskies plus 9.5 under 149. Louisiana Tech minus 3.5 over 141. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are also hitting at 63% in our last 38 NBA tier package picks on BrockPage.com as well. I'm going to lean toward UC Riverside minus 6 and the under 134. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on BrockPage.com. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on my website, just keep in mind you're going to get drilled. You're going to get drilled. You're going to get billed. You're going to get drilled and then billed. Let's try it again. Guys, just a quick reminder that if you end up getting a membership here today on my website, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on BrockPage.com, you're going to get access to those picks all the way through the end of January. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And if you want to get access to every single pick that I give out on that website, you're going to want to think about signing up for my board member tier package, where board members get access to every single pick that I give out on that website all the way through the end of January. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at BrockPage.com.